You, a landlord or a tenant, have you ever wondered why are most lease agreements made for 11 months or so? If you too have the same queries in your mind, then this video is for you. Hello guys, this is your friend Akash Burman and we welcome you to our channel Above Debits Credits. Before we jump in to know why most lease agreements are made for 11 months or so, let us first understand what is a lease agreement. A lease agreement is a written document or a written agreement between the owner of the property, the landlord, and the tenant who wants to take the property on rent. It is basically prepared on a stamp value paper amounting to rupees 20 or 50 depending on the state on which the property exists. The lease agreement contains the terms and conditions upon which both the parties may have been agreed upon. Like for instance, it may carry terms and conditions such as the description of the property, the size, the type of the property, then the area of the property being rented. It may also contains the agreement for the monthly rents, then the termination clauses. You may also have the maintenance charges, who is gonna bear it. So all these are the subject matter of the agreement, and it is subjective, depends upon person to person and parties to parties how they gonna appear and agree on different terms. But then, why are these lease agreements made for 11 months mostly? This is because as per the Registration Act 1908, Section 17, subsection 1, clause D, all leasing agreements having a leasing period of more than 12 months or so have to get itself registered. And if an agreement is being registered, it also have to pay the stamp value duty and also the registration charges to the government. So in a one-liner, the crux of making rental agreements for less than 12 months is to save registration charges. But is it a valid document to have rental agreements for less than 12 months? Does it serve the purpose of being called a proof of evidence in a court of law in case of any dispute? So the answer to the question is yes, it does. Supreme Court intervenes into this matter and says all lease agreements having a period of less than 12 months would be enforceable and to be considered as a valid document. Most of us would be of a view like, why are these rental agreements so advantageous to the landlord, or why do these landlords force us to prepare lease agreements for 11 months or so? So the answer to the question is there is an act called Rent Control Act which would only be applicable on rental agreements of 12 months or more. Rent Control Act is largely in favor of the tenant. It provides an ample safeguarding to the interest of the tenant. Also, the landlord cannot manipulate the rentals if it is covered under the Rent Control Act. So in order to get away from this act, so what could be fairly the registration charges and the stamp duty charges? It differs from state to state. Basically, registration charges would be somewhere around to 2% of the average annual monthly rent. Let's say for instance your monthly rent is rupees 3,000. So the average annual monthly rent of yours would be 3,000 multiplied by 12, that is 36,000. And a 2% registration charges would be 720. Plus the stamp duty charges of say rupees 100 depending upon the state. So it comes around to total rupees 820. This rupees 820 provides an extra layer of protection for the tenant. Therefore, the tenant should always go for registering a rental agreement for more than 12 months. These registration charges and stamp duty charges has to be borne by the tenant if he wants to have an extra layer of protection. But it can always be that the registration charges and the stamp duty charges can be borne by both landlord and the tenant on a 50-50% basis or on a more justified basis on which both agree upon. But then the discretion to provide or give the property always lies with the landlord, because the property is his. It is his sole discretion to give or not to give you a property, and for how long he has to decide. So having said that, you can always negotiate. So that was all from our side for today. Hope you have liked our videos. Keep subscribing and please hit the like button if you have really enjoyed our videos. Thank you.